So this is my thoughts on the Superman trailer that came out. I know I'm late on this. I also didn't have a chance to talk about the poster, which I thought the poster was great. I love the tagline the poster, look up when it comes to simple, but fits Superman perfectly when it comes to looking up in the sky to Superman or like look up, there's hope. So I thought the poster was great. I think this trailer is fantastic. And I'm somebody that the reason I want to do a separate video when it comes to this movie topic, this been doing a video just on this, is because Superman is a character that means a lot to me. To me, he's my favorite comic book character. He is a character that to me is just one of those characters that I love. And like I said, he is my favorite comic book character. And also the fact that I haven't loved the Superman movies since Superman 2. I think Superman's been killing it in television. Like I love Smallville. I love the current Superman animated show, My Adventures with Superman, and I love the current live action show that just ended, Superman Lois. And I think when it comes to modern Superman, I think he's been done way better in television, in my opinion. I feel like even when I look at like Smallville and the current Superman animated show and Superman Lois, how they're all different interpretations of a modern version of Superman. I feel like all those shows, they still keep the essence of Superman, and that's what I like. I sometimes mean when it comes to Superman is that I don't have a problem when you change the character around. I think there are all stories you can do with Dark Superman, but I felt like Man of Steel and Superman Returns, both of those movies, I just felt like they weren't bad movies. I didn't hate them, but I just felt like the way they wrote the Superman in those movies just to me felt like they missed the point of the character. I feel like Bryan Singer and Zack Snyder. And look, like I said, I don't hate those two Superman movies. I don't think they're bad. I'm in the middle with those two movies, but there are things I like about those two movies that they tried to do, and there's elements of those movies where I felt like the writing could have been better. When I look at Superman Returns, I wasn't a fan of how Superman was written in that movie. When it comes to him being mopey and depressed about Lois, I think he could have had more ass in that movie, but I don't hate that movie. I think Brendan Routh was used better in the CW crossover Question of Thrones, where he actually got to show more personality as a character. When it came to Man of Steel, there's elements I like about that movie when it comes to the opening of Krypton and some cool ass, even though I think they overdo it with ass in that movie. But again, that's another movie where I felt like they just Zack Snyder didn't really get the character. Like, and look, I think there are stories you can do a Dark Superman. If you want to do a Red Sun Superman movie, you can do that as an Elsa movie. I think that would make a great Elsa movie to do a Dark Superman because it goes back to what I did not love about this trail. So I'm going to talk about the trail, but Red Sun is a great example of how to do a Dark Superman movie because you take away Martha and Jonathan, which is fundamentally changes the character. You take away the cool aspect of Superman. And look, if you love those movies, I'm happy for you. Again, I don't think Superman Returns and Man of Steel are bad movies. I just felt like the way Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck was written in their movies, those Supermans, I just felt like they lacked personality, and it's not their fault completely. I just felt like they never. It just felt to me like again, it just felt like they just didn't have personality with the characters, with at least the way they were written in their movies. And like Man of Steel, we have Superman like snapping Zaw's neck. And look, I know people bring up the whole thing that he screams afterwards. I totally get that. I like that moment. And maybe that would have worked better for me if Batman v Superman, you didn't have Superman like punch a guy through like two walls at the beginning of that movie to save Lois, and I would have been like, maybe that would have worked better for me. But they kind of doubled down, actually, on the Dark Superman, where you have him going like, "Oh, it was a formless dream," and Batman v Superman with him saying, "The Batman bury it." It just didn't feel Superman-like to me. And when he died in that movie, I didn't really get a sense he was a beacon of hope to the world, or that people looked up to him as inspiration. And I also think those two movies just focus way too much on the God side of Superman. Where to me, I always say this about Superman. It's his love for humanity. It's the fact. It's his kindness. It's the farm boy. It's the character to me. Where I always say what keeps Superman Superman is the fundamental core of what Martha and Jonathan taught him. What I mean by it is that what he was raised to be by Martha and Jonathan when it comes to him. When it comes to, like I said, his kindness, him giving his even bad guys a second chance sometimes, him seeing the hope in people. Like I always look at Superman that he's an inspirational character. He's a beacon of hope. He's a character you look up to go like, you know what, we can be better. And I always say this about Superman. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Like to me, he has personality because of who Jonathan and Martha raised him to be. And I just I think what this trailer does a great job of with the Superman trailer, and what James kind of said about like showing how this movie shows a Superman who has kindness, who wears his heart on his sleeve, a Superman who feels like who inspires people around him. I think this trailer does a great job of making you just get that sense of wonder, that sense of excitement, that sense of hope. And I understand it's a teaser. And I understand not everybody's gonna feel this way about this teaser. I totally respect the fact that you know the trailer is not gonna hit for everybody, but I think this trailer captures what I wanted for Superman for me personally, was to get back to the idea that he's a character that wears his heart on his sleeve. Like there's a great moment in trailers I love. You see him going into this building, and it's like after the shot where you see somebody throw a can at his head, and you see that's just the actor's like expressing his face, but you can see he really showed like I said, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And just to me, I feel like when you get a Superman, that gets back to him showing some personality. Because I just felt like lacked from Henry Cavill and Brendan Routh in their movies. And even that moment of just, I love how it opens the show where you see him bleeding. Again, it just goes like, okay, he feels human to me. I have always found the thing that makes Superman interesting is not that he's a god. It's the fact that he feels like a person like the rest of us. He has godlike powers, yes. But to me, that's not what, at least for me, that's not personally what I relate to, what I find relatable about Superman is because he has godlike powers. What I find relatable about Superman is the Fall Boy. It's the fact that you have this show where opens up, he bleeds. Okay, that's human. Him whistling to his dog, I'm like, I love dogs, and that's very human. Like that moment where you see him going into that building, like I said, where you see him putting his hands on the table and showing how much he has his heart on his sleeve, where he shows his emotions up front. And here's another thing I love about the show, and this is another thing that lacked from Henry Cavill for me. Even when you watch the Ultimate Cut of Batman v Superman, I love the fact, and I saw a promo video for this today release, where I love how his Clark Kent looks. Because here's the other thing I felt like, this is one thing I love about Christopher Reeve and why he's my favorite Superman in film, at least in the movie side, is that he made his Clark Kent and Superman feel like totally two different people. When you watch those Christopher Reeve in those movies, to me, you can say the glasses are silly disguise, but the reason why it worked the best for him is because he made his Clark Kent look like a different person. He acted different. When you look at Christopher Reeve in those movies, he would stand differently. His voice would change. His hair would be different. You would go like, yeah, you wouldn't buy him as Superman. You feel like he acts differently too. And I love how even that promo video that was released and in this trailer, I love the look of the character. Like I love the fact that I look at Superman in this trailer, his Clark Kent, and he looks like a different person to me. Like to me, I can buy the glasses if you actually put some effort into making him look and act different than when he's Superman. So I love the way Clark Kent looks in this trailer. Like to me, I love the fuzzy hair and the glasses and how he doesn't look like Superman to me. And that short promo video I saw, I thought really was a great example of showing also how like it showed how his Clark Kent can be a little awkward. Which I love that because I can relate to that too. Like I'm not the most confident person in the world, but I always relate to Clark Kent because you know what, he was a bit nerdy. He was awkward. He wasn't like the most confident person. But that's also why what made his disguise work so well. So I love the way Clark Kent looks in this brief shot we see in the trailer. I love the day of the planet. The flying scenes look fantastic in this, and I love how the monster looks. And I think Nicholas Hoult, I love the look of Les in this trailer. When you see him in the Les Hoult building, you see that one scene with the gun. Like I think he's gonna be a great Les Luthor. Because I think Nicholas Hoult is a fantastic actor. I think he was a great choice to play Les Luthor. And again, I love the vibe of this show. It just gives you a sense of wonder, gives you a sense of hope, which is what Superman to me means. Because, like I said, Superman, I always say this, Superman isn't Batman. He is not this bleak, mopey, depressed character all the time where he just has this outlook on life where it just like is like no, he generally believes in kindness. He believes in wanting to help people. You know, he enjoys helping people. There's a sense of like, okay, this guy makes you feel like you can be better. And I feel like I got this from this trailer. And like I said, I love the dog moment. I thought that was cute. And I didn't think that came off silly personally to me. I felt like, you know what, he's a farm boy and he was raised in Kansas. And I think that's very human, like, that he would have a dog. Like, and I think out of all the characters in comics, Superman makes more sense to me because he's just a kind person who wants to help people. So I love that like shot of scene in the trailer. But my favorite shot in this trailer was I love this shot in the trailer. This to me is one of my favorite just shots in the trailer. Period. Is when you see him like about to save the kid and you see debris come behind him and he's holding the kid to save the kid. I love that moment because that to me is Superman. Because I always say this, Superman is gonna help people. That's one of the problems I kind of have with the Jonathan moment in Man of Steel, where that's one of the other example of not to me Superman not being well in that movie. And I understand that moment looked for people who love Man of Steel, but that is an example of Man of Steel where he like decides not to save Jonathan, and Jonathan tells him not to because there's people around. That is an example of to me of barely went Superman for me at least personally, where I'm like Superman would save his dad Jonathan if a tornado was about to suck him up. Even those people around, he would still save him. Even if Jonathan tells him not to, he would still do it. You know, Smallville is a great example of that too, where you go back, you watch Smallville, even when he doesn't have powers, he's wanting to help people. You know, there's been times in Smallville where he'll still try to save people despite there's a risk that people could see him using his powers. And that's the thing with Superman for me is that he has that innate sense to want to help people. And that's what I love about this trailer. It just gives you so much sense of like, this is a heroic Superman. This is Superman who just, like I said, wears his heart on his sleeve. And he's just a good person. And I love the fact that we have a movie that shows you, you know, that you can do a movie about maybe just a good person wanting to help people. And I'll say this, because I know not everybody loved, you know, not everybody loved this trailer. And I can, like I said, I totally understand people who want a darker, edgier Superman. I get all of that. But I think in a world we live in right now, it's so cynical. I love the fact that we have a Superman movie that could potentially, you know, we'll see how the movie turns out. Like, the trailer's great, poster's great. Everything James Gunn has said makes it sound like to me he gets the character. He gets at the core of who the character is and what makes him stand out. And look, the movie could end up being bad. But at least feeling wise, vibe wise, what it looks like in this trailer, everything to me looks like this is a Superman movie I think we need right now. You know, a Superman movie that actually makes you do a movie that actually is a movie about somebody just being kind, about people, about somebody just wanting to help people. And I think that's, like I said, with how cynical the world is, I think that's great. And you know, here's another thing I want to talk about is that look, the director, I mean not the director James Gunn, the actor David, I can't remember his last name, the actor's playing Superman. This is one of the I also love that made me excited for this movie is that he talked about how he was the one that told James Gunn to put the trunks in for Superman. And look, I don't really care either way whether Superman wears the trunks or not. Do I think it's a little dated? Yes, but I love his excuse because I never thought about it that way. Is that look? He said to James Gunn was another example of why I think this actor gets Superman. Is that he told James Gunn, no, you gotta have him wear the trunks because back then when he was created, he was dressed like a wrestler, and kids, you know, he doesn't want to be he wants give the message that this guy doesn't like kids want to be afraid of him, and I love that because here's another thing about Zack Snyder's Superman I didn't really completely click for me is that is this he went so dark and edgy in Man of Steel and he doubled down on it in Batman v Superman to the point for me personally where he tried to make this version of this angry god and did the whole thing of like Superman's gonna go bad in Zack Snyder's universe and when Superman died I didn't really care because he just felt like to me he didn't really give him much personality beyond the fact that he's just this mopey angry god And to me, I always feel like the thing about Superman is that when you wound him, you want to feel hopeful. You don't want to feel scared of this guy. And I love the fact that this the actual Superman say, no, we gotta get out of the trunk so kids wouldn't be afraid of him because kids shouldn't be afraid of Superman. The whole point of Superman is that, again, why I love the character, why I think he's gone on to survive this long, and why I feel like Smallville, the current Superman animated show, and the Superman Lois show that just ended, why I feel like Superman has done better in television lately, while being all different interpretations of the character, is because they never lost the core aspect of the character, and that is that he is a character that makes you feel hopeful when you're around him, not scared. And I still feel like you can have him be badass at the same time. You know, a great example of that is in Superman 2 when he tells General Zod, can you please step outside? Like, when you see him get serious, he can be badass. But, to me, he's not this, like evil angry god, and I understand you have interpretations where you had that. Like I said, I think you can do that if you do Wed Son. I think that would make a great dark Superman movie, like the Elseworld movie. And I think you could do. And I think another way you could do a dark Superman is that I think you could do the Injustice storyline if you build up to that. But that storyline is a storyline that could work if you actually have some time for Superman that actually feels like this is a Superman that is a beacon of hope, that represents hope. And I think the show just gets back to that. And I love that. Because this is a Superman that personally I wanted to see. That I feel like the television shows have been able to do, even though being different interpretations, which is just his hopefulness. And everything James Gunn has said just makes me feel like he gets the character. And there's just so many great shots in this trailer. Like, and also, I love the score in this show. Like, it's kind of like, I know people say you kind of hear the Man of Steel theme and kind of the Wisdom one. And I know some people might say, oh, it's a remix of the Wisdom one. I don't really have a problem with that personally because you know what? I think the score does a great job personally of selling the vibe, the tone, and I think it does a great job of sounding old-fashioned but updated. Where I'm like, it does a great job of sounding like a new score, while having the little things there that reminds you of the Mr. Donna score or the Man of Steel score, because I love both of those scores. But I love the score in the trailer. I think the music in the trailer the score sounds perfect. So I thought the theme score on the show was fantastic, and I just love the way it sounds. It gives you that excitement, that wonder, sense of wonder feeling. But yeah, I thought overall this was a great first trailer, and the other thing I want to talk about is that this trailer has gotten like I think it became the biggest trailer view wise in Warner Brothers history. Like I think it had 250 views or something like that. I think it even surpassed Deadpool Halloween. And it's in like the top 5 or something like that of views for a YouTube trailer. Now look, that doesn't guarantee the movie's gonna make a lot of money, but I love the fact. Look, even if you don't like this trailer, because a great trailer doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. A bad trailer doesn't mean the movie's going to be good either. Same with the fact it doesn't mean the movie's going to be terrible either way or not either. But I love the fact this movie, at least from the view-wise, it looks like this is going to be one of those movies that's going to feel like an event movie. I love the fact that people are just excited for a Superman movie again. I love the fact that like from most of the comments were pretty positive with this trailer, and that people, even from people who want Superman fans, are excited for this movie. I mean, this is the biggest amount of views a Superman show has gotten for any Superman movie. And the fact it surpassed Deadpool and Wolverine views, it's in the top 5 views. This shows how excited people are for the Superman movie. And even if you aren't, I mean, to me, I think this is a good time to be a Superman fan because I would say just be happy with people that are. Look, at the end of the day, I want a great Superman movie. And, and you still have your Dark Superman with Man of Steel, with the Injustice games, and there's a Wes Son animated movie too. So you still have those there. And like I said, I totally understand if people love Man of Steel. I totally understand it. Hey, I understand if you love Superman Returns, because at the end of the day, I don't hate either of those 2 movies. But for me personally, this is a Superman I've been waiting for. So I know this is a very long video, but this is to me my most anticipated movie of the year, and just everything the actor James Gunn, everything I've seen from the poster and from this trailer, just all give me that sense of vibe. And I'll say the one negative with the trailer is that Guy Gardner's haircut does look a little goofy, even though that is his original haircut from the comics. So that's one of those things where I'm like, it is comic accurate though, so I can't really. And at the end of the day, it's a minor nitpick for me personally. It's like, do I think Nathan Fillion looks a little silly with the guy calling a haircut in the trailer? Yeah. But look, if he nails the character down personality wise, that's really all I care about. I mean, it's not like something that's gonna like bug me personally when I watch the movie. Like I care more about it if he actually gets the personality of Guy Gardner down, more so than I mean, even with the costume, like I would prefer if he has like the green jacket and green and black costume like the comics. But at the end of the day, that's not really going to affect whether the quality of the movie is going to be good or not. So, and again, it's a minor nitpick with the guy with the goofy haircut with Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. But just a great trailer, and I cannot wait for Superman in 2025.